Hello, and welcome back to Psychotic Py Podcast. We don't want to get canceled, as Bridget always opens up and says. But sorry, we did take a week off, as we did warn everyone with Bridget giving birth. And surprise, she did. She gave birth exactly on her due date, which is like crazy that she actually went on her due date and gave birth on her due date. And I'm going to let her do the rest and fill you in on the gender and the name. So take it away, Bridget.
So surprise, surprise, we had a baby boy. His name is Theo, little Theodore James. He's adorable. So basically, to talk you through like what happened, my labor. So literally, we took Friday off. That night, Friday evening, I went into labor and baby was born on his due date, Saturday, December 7th at 2 a.m. So it all happened so quickly, but like at the same time, not really. It's weird. All right. So, I went to my appointment with a midwife on Tuesday and I was like, yeah, like, do you want to examine me? Because I'm coming up to 40 weeks soon. And like, I just want to know what you think. Because this is gross, but like I self-examine myself. I have really long fingers. Yeah, I'm a doctor and I have really long fingers. So like I knew what I was looking for. I was like, oh, I'm effaced. Like I couldn't go much further because my wrist was like at an awkward angle, but I was like, oh, I'm like definitely effaced. Like this feels good. I'm going to go into labor soon. So I went Tuesday morning. The midwife's like, yeah, I'll check you. She was like, you're 4 centimeters. And I was like, I feel nothing. Like I went for a jog that morning with my mom. So I feel absolutely fine. Like I'm all right. I'm shocked. She was like, yeah, like I'll probably see you Saturday. So funny. Like I literally saw her Saturday. So the rest of that week, like Ted and I went to the beach. Like I started taking it easier at the gym just because he was like, this baby's going to fall out. I was like, it's fine. I'm only 4 centimeters. Like relax. So Friday comes, still absolutely no pain, no contraction. So I'm like, I must still be 4, maybe 5 now. You know, early labor can take days, especially with your first baby. There's no time limit on it. Whereas like active labor, once you hit 6 centimeters, there is a time limit on it because they need to know, like, are you progressing or not? So at this stage, it's like, yeah, just whenever you feel contractions come in. Friday night, it's like 7 p.m. Ted's like, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, yeah, okay, me too. I'll take it easy. I'm squatting. I was not really taking it easy. So I was squatting with like maybe 10 pounds, like nothing heavy. But I feel like a pop sensation and then warmth, and like my water broke like in a movie, like saturated my leggings. And I was like, oh, okay, I think we need to go now. And I was like, I'm still feeling no contractions. So like, we're not going to go to the hospital or anything. Like my water broke. It's fine. I'm groupie strep negative. No rush to go to the hospital. Then I'm like, I'm going to take a shower, try to relax in the shower because it was nice, clear, like everything looked normal. It started to become blood stained, which is kind of a sign that you're dilating quickly. Because you dilate slowly, your body has time to adjust and you might not bleed. But if you go kind of quick, like it will. So like, oh, it's bloody in here. Still no contractions. So I'm like, I'll take a photo, like we'll show the doulas. So Ted's like texting my doulas like, hey, Bridget's water broke. Just so you know, like things might happen. Mom's like, you got to eat. So like I take my shower. I feel great. I take a seat at the table. I eat chicken. I eat a chicken thigh, which I so regretted. Okay. Because at that point, all of a sudden I was like, ooh, I'm a bit uncomfortable. And then like, I knew this would happen. Like, cause I see it all the time, like women in labor vomit. Because your body's just like, get it all out, like get everything out. So I was like, I feel really sick now. Like, I wish I didn't eat that chicken thigh. And she's like, you needed protein. I'm like, I really regret this, Jerry. Like, this is a horrible idea. So all I can think about is the chicken thigh, like sitting right up here. So, and Ted's like, hey, we have a contraction timer that the doula told us to get on our phone. And he's like, asking me like, hey, like when would you say a woman should really come in? And I'm like, you know, from my experience, if they're getting 3 to 4 contractions in 10 minutes and they're consistent, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, so like that's where you're at. And I was like, but they're not like really I was like, they're uncomfortable. Like they don't hurt. So I was like, this could just be like fake. Like, really, like I feel deeply uncomfortable, but I would not say like I was in pain. Like it wasn't like my whole body tightening and I was like, oh, no, we're fine. And he's like,
only you at the end of your term would be like, this is fake. I'm not going into labor.
This could be like false labor. Like my water broke. And I was like, we're good. And he's like, you literally told me 3 to 4 in 10 minutes. Like that's where you're at. And I could tell you're becoming more uncomfortable. Like I'm telling the doulas we're going in. Went into community medical center, shout out in Tom's River. And they were like, oh, is it your first baby? I'm like, yeah. So they're kind of like, fair enough. Like you get a bit skeptical when it's their first. You're like, okay, you're probably not in labor. But they were like, you're giving a very convincing history that your water broke. And I was like, no, it definitely was. Like it was like a gush of fluid. I was like, I for sure didn't piss myself. Also, I know the smell. I know that sounds gross again, but like through my own patients, like it has a very distinct smell. It doesn't smell bad, but it has a smell. So like, sure, my water went. But one of the more like senior nurses was like, she's giving a very convincing history. Like, don't even triage her. I think you need to take her to a labor room. And I was like, okay. And the midwife came in and she was like, so you're 7, like you're 7 centimeters dilated. We're well on our way. Good thing you came in. And then she was like, I don't even need to examine you again. Like when you feel the urge to push, you're 10 and just let us know and we'll come back in. And that was that. And so I did it without anything. She was like, what, have you thought about pain relief? And I was like, already at this point. And like I said, I was not in pain per se. It was uncomfortable. So I was like, I'm already here at 7. Like, we're good. And she was like, okay, nothing. And it, from my water breaking to baby coming out was only 7 hours. I only had contractions for about 5.5 hours. Was not in the hospital long. I was there for like 5 hours, like labor ward. I wasn't there long for mom and baby unit. It was like super routine. Like I was like, how is this happening? Like everything was really forward. I tried to snooze in between contractions. Like Ted said, like I was like swaying and like rolling my eyes back. And I'm like, oxytocin is a hell of a drug, man. Like if you lean into it, you could really like ride that wave and just feel a bit loopy and out of it. Yeah, I did. I wanted this to happen because a lot of people like have diarrhea when they're in labor because like you just want to clear everything out. Luckily, I did do that. So I went like 3 times and I just kept being like, Mom, I need to poop. And they were like, you might like have a baby, like don't. And I was like, no, I definitely need to poop. And I puked. The chicken thigh came right back up. And I told Jerry in the moment, I said, this is the only thing I regret is eating this effing chicken thigh because I hate puking. Like I hate, nobody's like, oh, I love to puke. It's such a gross feeling. And I was just like looking at my like partially digested chicken, like, regret this. This is your fault. It was amazing. So it was her in the labor room, Ted, and our amazing doula, Holly. And I was just getting like massaged on all angles. Like I didn't know where one person's hands ended and another's began. It felt great. And all of a sudden, it is so weird. Like it is just like how they describe all of a sudden you're like, I need to take a big poop. And they're like, that means you're fully dilated. Like, hold on, don't poop. And the midwife came in and was like, yeah, so you're ready to push. Like, if you feel the need to push, just go for it. And again, like, because my contractions weren't painful, they were just like discomfort. It was hard to tell. I'd be like, oh, I think this is one. Oh, okay, I feel like I could push. Sure. Like it was weird. I don't know. I will say though that like uncomfortable and you're so tired because it is like, I know like for a first time labor, like 7 hours is very quick, but that is a long time objectively. So in pain and discomfort that long, like you get really worn out. And I could totally see why people are like, F it, give me the epidural. Because if mine was any longer, I would have been like, I'm just so tired, like I can't do it anymore. But because my labor was somehow very quick, like, well, fuck it, like we're already here, like you may as well keep going. Yeah, it was the like I this sounds weird again, but like it was the labor of my dreams. Like I didn't want any pain relief. I wanted to know I could do it, and I did it, and it was worth it. Obviously, like I'm obsessed with this kid that I just met 9 days ago. I'm like staring at him all the time, like, hey buddy,
Yeah.
you up?
Yeah.
And like they sleep all the time right now, so you're just like something.
They like fart a lot, lift their legs
Yeah.
up. That's about it.
Legs up and fart. That's it. I'm like,
Nope.
yay.
Amazing, buddy.
So yeah, he's 9 days old now. He was born 7 pounds, 13 ounces, and now he's 7 pounds, 15 and a half. He just got weighed today. So
Yay.
everything was amazing. Our doula Holly was amazing. She helped out so much. Shout out to Mama's doulas. Like she walked in, commanded the room, and was like, "Can we turn these lights down?" And then like had like a dim light going with like, you know, like the stars on the, you know, one of those
Mhm.
like light
Mhm.
machines. And that calmed me down so much that like that set the tone in the room. And she would suggest different positions. And like I said, she was like massaging like very intensely, like helped a lot. Else was I gonna say? Oh, because it was like dim and she made it a peaceful environment. I was able to sleep in between contractions. Like I would just be like, okay, resting time. And it was really good. I had some nasty tears. It's fine. I had two. They're not horrible. I had two second-degree tears that kind of like went both ways, and it sounds like connected. Well, maybe it's fine. My perineum is healing. I finally feel a little bit better. It took like a good week though to actually like,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's okay. All worth it. I will say, like immediately after he, like the second he was born, you know, like they give you like what an hour or something on labor ward, Marissa, and then they take you to the postpartum.
Yeah, I mean, mine
Yeah.
was a little different with C-section, so I had to wait 2 hours minimum in the recovery room, and I couldn't even hold my kid because he was in, the NICU, but with, Evelyn, because she was in a NICU baby, John was able to bring her to the recovery room.
Nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
There for like a little bit. They make sure like your blood pressure's okay. Like I always have low blood pressure, so in pregnancy it's like very low. So they had to like help me stand and stuff. And then they're like, okay, she's good to go, and they take you to like postpartum, a little bit of graham crackers and everything. After the postpartum like room, Jerry was still with us and stuff, and I was like, psycho, Jerry, for doing this 3 times. Like it's really traumatic.
It's traumatic.
Like and
Wait,
she's like.
wait, can I quote you because you're so funny? Bridget, after labor, and I asked her how she was and how her experience was, she said, it's like getting into a car accident while sitting in a split position and then being asked to care for a child.
Like it that's what it feels like. That they're just like, oh, all the trauma right there. Just, like it's really it's very intense.
It is.
And you don't when you're pushing the baby out, like there's so much oxytocin and adrenaline that you're just like, this hurts, okay, but whatever. But then afterwards you really feel it and you're like, oh fuck, like it's horrible. Like not actually insane. The next day they're doing photos of my son and I'm already like, let's have more. Like
Oh,
like
yeah.
you just love them so much. You're like, oh my god, should we have like a ton of kids? Like and then like my vagina's like throbbing, like, bitch, no.
We have to let her get to the terrible twos, you guys, before she says this statement again. We want so many more.
I know. We're so lucky right now. He's just like one of those sleeping newborns, but like, wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's great. She got an easy baby on breast milk. He like wakes up once a night. I'm like, what?
Oh, he wakes up once. Okay, so actually we increased his feed to 90 now, Maris. I don't know
Hey,
why, but all of a sudden 90, and he like still just wakes up once. I slept right through after that. I was like, well, I guess I'll pump. Like I'm up now.
yeah, yeah. Oh, well, let's explain to the listeners your breastfeeding journey and pumping.
Okay. So I I have like very small boobs and super tiny nipples. So I was like, we're not going to be good at this. Like I'll try. Whatever. This kid has such a powerful suck. Was somehow, so for the full 36 hours we were in the hospital, it was just like him directly nursing on me because obviously I didn't like bring my pump to the hospital, and I was like, well, I may as well try. My god, the suck on this kid, holy shit. I was in agony, and he would go for like 35 minutes. Oh, I did it because I love him and he needed to eat something. We did that. But now that the second I got home and like had the pump in my hands, I was like, that's it. Like we are getting this kid off my boob, because the pump on its full power is less powerful than Theo suck. Like I don't know what sort of monster I gave birth to, but like you should see him with a pacifier. He does this like awful thing where like he opens his mouth really wide. He's like,
Yeah.
like, like that was my nipple once, and he does that to a pacifier, like open mouth, like as if someone's like spraying beer on him and he's at a frat party. He's like, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, kid?
Once he latches on, there's no hope for you.
Oh, remember, okay, so I was pumping on one boob and he was nursing on the other. This was like day 2 of his life because I was like, I'm going to pump at the same time and I'll be a bottle ahead of him and then I can get him off my boob. And, oh my God, honestly, my memory is so bad now. Where was I going with this
Okay.
now?
It's okay. So she did that. She did exactly what she said. But then when it was time to unlatch him, this kid refused.
That's who's going with it. Yes, Marissa. Yeah. She was like, how do you get him to stop? And I was like, I just wait for him to burp. And then I like quickly escape a nipple because I'm so scared of him.
We tried to tickle him. We tried to blow on his face lightly. This kid would not release. He's like, no.
No, exactly. And my fear, you know how like when you're feeding a kid and you pull back, they suck harder so you know
Yes.
they're still hungry. So like if I pulled away, he was just like
Taking her nipple.
So I was like, there's actually like no escape. Like
There, no. Nope.
oh my
So Bridget's
God.
new appreciation for breastfeeding mothers.
Wow. Actually, I'm women who like persevere and nurse, like purely nurse. I'm very impressed by you guys because I mean, immediately my nipples were like bleeding. Immediately. I was like, right. So this hurts.
Listen, you know it's hard if she was like, yeah, I did unmedicated birth, but I ain't breastfeeding this kid on the nip anymore.
Oh, I know. I was like, where is my pain tolerance? Like, where does it lie? Like, vaginally, great. Nipples? No. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It was like toe curling. Every time he'd start, I'd be like, ugh.
No, I feel you.
So yeah, I have new nipple balm now. I've got these new like silicone pads that like keep your nipples moist all day. It's great. I'm a new woman now. The pump is great. I do that every 3 to 4 hours whenever I can fit it in because I know I need to do it more, but
she thought she was gonna have. You thought you were gonna have so much time bonding with your baby on your time off. Now look, you're on a machine's time.
Oh my God, I know. It's so like Groundhog Day. Like he wakes up, you feed him, you clean him, he goes down. I pump in between. Same thing over and over and over, 5 times a day, like same thing every day. I try to like right now I'm sneaking in an iced coffee because I just pumped. So I'm like, ooh, let's have like caffeine and then it'll be gone next pump session. Like you're constantly like doing math in your head, tracking when he ate, tracking when I pumped. I'm like, what life is this? If you go out of the house, you have like a 3-hour window to accomplish anything.
It gets bigger when the baby gets bigger. But yeah, it's stressful.
So we went apple picking yesterday with Marissa's kids, Theo, husbands, and Gaga. That's Jerry. And I had to like pack all this milk. I pumped in the car on the way home. It was a 30-minute journey home. I was like, perfect, pump on the way. And the woman was like, oh, like, so they were checking our bags. You're not allowed to bring bags. And my mom was like, she has fresh breast milk in there. Like, she needs this bag because it's refrigerated. And I was like, I'm really sorry. Like, this kid's a week old. I need this. And she's like, what, are you going to feed him in the middle of the orchard? And we were like, yeah, possibly. Like, that's very likely because he eats every 2 to 3 hours. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I need to have it in case.
Wait, she said that to you?
Because she was like, oh, like, we don't have enough staff to check everyone's bags. Like, we don't know what people are bringing in. And Jerry was like, please, like, you could search her bag. There's no weapons. There's nothing dangerous. It's literally refrigerated breast milk in the bottle. And she was like, he's a week old. Like, he has to eat. And she was like, I mean, are you going to feed him in the middle of the orchard? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Was it a teenager or someone that's not a mom? Because who says that?
She was like, I'd say she looked like she was about 50. She's the manager. They brought the manager. And then she said, okay, I'll let you buy, but next time, like, you can't bring a diaper bag like this. And I was like, I'm so sorry. It's my bad, but, like, I need this breast milk.
Because, I mean, like, I get it. I get rules are rules, but I feel like there needs to be some exceptions because the baby needs to eat.
She was like, you can bring, like, the pouch of milk through. And I was like, but then it might go bad. Like, it was really hot. It was a hot day. It was, like, in the 80s. Yeah. I was like, I mean, I don't want to, like, leave it sitting out when I packed a refrigerated bag. I mean, I bought this diaper bag solely because it has a changing station and a refrigerator pack in it. Like, that's, that's why I bought the diaper bag. So I was like, hey.
Yikes. Jeez. Well, I'm glad she let it through. So thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, so Bridget's just really acclimating to new mom life with a newborn and being a breastfeeding mom. And it is a lot. It can be overwhelming at times. A conversation that you and I just had, actually, I feel like a day or two ago, was Bridget has, I don't know if she's always been, telling you guys and upfront on the show, but if not, she's someone who doesn't really have anxiety. She doesn't stress about things. She's very on the go, in the moment, adventurous, not a planner really, unless maybe it involves like her career and stuff that really, like in school, obviously she planned out things because you had to, but in her personal life, not really. So she was obviously had Theo and turned to me and was like, I can't stop freaking out. Like, I feel like I have anxiety thinking about him and, if there's something going on wrong or if he's okay. And she asked me, if it ever goes away, and thinking maybe it's just some postpartum stuff going on. And I'm like, okay, two things here. Yes, it's probably more heightened because you're obviously it's still early on in postpartum because, postpartum anxiety is a thing. But two, no. Like it might not be as heightened, but at least from my experience, my oldest is 5 now. That's why on, I think, one episode, I definitely said, it feels like when you have kids, your heart is always living outside your body. Because for me, I'm always going to worry. I'm not going to not worry. And there's just so much in the world that you worry about harming your child that you just can't stop thinking about. You're always thinking about it. And I feel like I'm not there yet, but I feel like even if they're teenagers, I'd still worry because if they're going to go out somewhere or with their friends, I'm going to wait up all night freaking out. Are they drinking? Are they drinking and driving? Did they lie and go somewhere else? What company do they hang out with? Are they good kids? I just don't think it's ever going to go away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, great.
Sorry.
Yeah. Wouldn't say I'm like going crazy and like full on, Mercy, you've seen me, but like who definitely slightly obsessed with like,
Mhm.
are they okay? And at this early in his life, it's more just like, is he eating enough? Is he pooing enough? Like stupid stuff like that.
Mhm.
Is he sleeping enough? And Jerry put him on his belly for 4 hours. Did not tell me, by the way. Okay, so he's a week old and she puts him on his belly, which is fine if you're watching your child.
Right.
Him like just sleeping for 4 hours unsupervised. So I went to go get him and I saw he was on his belly and I was like, Mom, like what the frick? Like that's a SIDS risk. Like he's only a week and he's really good with the head control for his age. He's good with tummy time.
Mhm.
Like we make sure we do it every day, a couple times a day. But I was like, what? And she's like, he's fine. And I'm like, I was like, Mom, what? Like he could have suffocated. And obviously to her, she's like, I've done this 3 times. Like it's fine. But to me, I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I was so pissed to her in that moment.
Obviously, yes, valid reasons. But I will say the one thing you didn't tell the viewers is she didn't completely leave him unsupervised. She knew you had the Owlet sock, which she has an app for. So it does have breathing and heartbeat. So it's not like she just left him and didn't think about it. Her phone on her app would alert her.
Yeah. So we do have the Owlet Dream Sock. So it tells you like baby's pulse, room temperature, room humidity, their oxygen saturations. So now whenever I put him on down for tummy time, I make sure he's obviously supervised like on the camera. And we have the Dream Sock on and I just basically watch and make sure he's not like smothering himself. Because you just never know. He is really young still to even be like doing naps on his belly, but as long as they're supervised, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, like I didn't know, and I just went in and saw him on his belly, and I was like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Postpartum rage kicking in.
I was like, what the fuck, like, oh, but you just like can't stop thinking about their well-being. Another thing is like only I don't know 2 days old, and Ted and I were like, it feels like we like what was life before him?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
weird.
Yep. You really then the older and the longer you're with them, the more you can't remember really your past self without them. Like you remember the activities you were doing at that time, but for some reason your mind thinks your kids were like always there. Like it's weird. You're like, that's weird because you definitely were not with me when I was in high school, but okay.
It just feels like you've known them for it's like I really know you, kid. What test did you pass to get into my crew? You just showed up and we all accepted you.
Adorable, by the way. He does heavily like Ted, I feel like, her husband,
Oh my God,
but a little bit. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna have baby blue eyes, which is so cute.
far the eyes are still blue.
Mm-hmm.
I know newborn eyes change, but we're holding out for some sort of blue, maybe even just like a hazel. Mine are brown and Ted's are a gorgeous light blue. So I'm like, maybe if we could just
I
some
think
fun in
so.
there.
Yeah. Also, genetics are wild, people, because I have deep dark brown shit eyes. My husband has green, and I have a hazel-eyed child and a blue-eyed baby. And then my mom, who is literally brown, we all have brown. So me, Bridget Brown, our brother Michael Brown, and yet it seems like my mom's grandchildren are all going to either be hazel and blue-eyed, which I find hilarious.
I know, it is
That she,
so funny.
right? She's like, my kids are brown, but my grandchildren are blue. Woo!
Yes, it is really weird. This has like dark hair, but I wouldn't say it's as well. Mine was probably about that dark when I was born. Mine
It's
was
a
lighter
light
when I was born.
yeah. It's like teddy bear brown, which is funny
Yeah,
because I call her husband
yeah,
Teddy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Teddy
she doesn't like that I do it.
Call him Teddy Bear. Yeah, interesting. Like when he came. Oh, also he has like a big forehead. So when he was coming out, they were like, "Oh, he has no hair," and then all of a sudden he came out more, and they're like, "Oh no, he has a lot of hair. He has a lot of hair."
You leave my nephew alone.
They're like, "We see the hair now." And he has like blonde eyebrows and eyelashes, so it looks like he has no eyelashes or eyebrows, just like gone.
Yes.
It's weird.
He's so funny. They'll grow in though. That's
Yeah,
I've seen Evelyn was I feel like that. It's weird.
he's
Weird how
adorable
it is.
though. We're obsessed with him. Every day it's like he has a new face. You're like, "Who are you now? What's that?" Like they just change so much.
Yeah. Yeah. But otherwise he's a great baby. I mean, they go places with him, he sleeps.
Such a freaking sleeper, my god. Good, but you know,
Yeah.
like this, you just put him in a seat and he's like asleep already. Um,
We're just like,
but
do
yeah,
something cute.
I know. Yeah, you're like, come on, kid. Um, I say that,
That's
but
what
like in a month when he's awake more, I'm gonna be like, sure.
Mhm. While we were waiting for them to get discharged from the hospital, my mom called me and was like, have Evelyn and Jack like make their own cards for Theo, to welcome him back. That'll be really nice. And I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Evelyn is all about it, as I thought she would be. Now, Jack gets halfway through his construction and is like, he gets really aggravated. Mom, I'm busy. I have to dust and vacuum before Theo gets here. I have so much work to do. Proceeds to put on a baggy t-shirt, my mom's heels, and starts literally vacuuming and dusting. So it was adorable, but like, who made you?
I know he's actually like a dream kid because he cleans constantly.
Today, I got him all dressed in his uniform, and he refused to come eat his breakfast until he vacuumed the carpet area of the living room because he couldn't go to school with a messy house because what if a friend wants to come over?
Cute. You're like, baby boy, it's a Monday. Your friend ain't coming over.
Well, I said, you got hockey tonight, boy. It ain't happening.
Sweet though. He's like, this place is a
It
mess.
is. Okay, but just let me put this out for the viewers. It's not my doing. It's my own kids' mess and their toys, so you know what? He should clean it.
Yeah, the thing about Jack is like he'll eat lunch, make a mess like all kids do, and I'll just be like, all right, go vacuum. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Treat it like as if you said, let's go eat and go to the park. Like, eat and vacuum is his park. He
Yeah,
freaking loves it.
he does.
Now, Evelyn, when you tell her to do anything, even if you bribe her and you're polite about it, she goes, methinks not. And pieces out.
She is cute though.
Yeah, well, God gave her that face for a reason because she's going to try to get away with a lot.
Oh yeah. She loves Theo. She always asks, can I touch his little hand? Can I touch his little knee? Can I touch his little elbow?
Yes. Well, she's also obsessed with Ted because we were at a beer festival recently and she insisted on holding Ted's hand, but she was already holding mine, which then made us look like a family and poor Bridget with her newborn, a single mom.
And also, she said she liked Uncle Ted better than me. She ranked everyone at the table, and I was like third.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You know what? It's the Blue Eye tribe. That's why you don't have baby blues.
I was like, wow, you have not known him as long. Well, Ted's been around. She knows him as long as she knows me, but like, we're related by blood, bitch.
I don't know. She looks oddly like him, though. If you guys were in public, they'd think that was his and not yours, for sure.
I think, yeah, they have a lot of similarities. The pale skin, the lighter brown hair, the more round face.
Yeah, yeah. So, but so that we just wanted to update you guys. We'll give you a quick little 5-minute what Jerry kind of did with her birth story, since you've obviously heard mine, you've heard Bridget's, and let's compare Jerry's. So take it away, Bridget, since I know you probably remember majority of it.
Okay, so funny thing is Jerry also had completely unmedicated all 3 labors. With Marissa, she's like, ooh, she was in church doing a funeral, I believe. She felt like she was going into labor. So that all day she was like in early labor, just letting it ride out, whatever, carrying on with her day. Night, she woke up and was like, ooh, I think things are kicking off. Woke up our dad early. He takes 45 minutes to get ready. Still does to this day. Shower, blow dries hair, the whole 9. His teeth in the middle of the night to go to the hospital with his wife who's in labor. So she woke him up early so he could get ready for 45 minutes and then drive her to the hospital in perfect time. And then she delivered Marissa unmedicated with forceps. And I'm like, ow. Had a big tear. So she doesn't know specifically because she's not like in healthcare, but it's either like a 3C or a 4th degree tear because she tore like she says, I tore all the way to my asshole.
Oh, Jerry.
She does say that the other 2 were easier just because they're not the first. So Michael and I were not forceps, didn't need forceps for us. She said they were much quicker. Michael, I'm pretty sure, was quick because we were old enough to kind of like remember her being pregnant and everything. And one day she was there, and the next day we were getting picked up by Dad at school, taking us to the hospital to meet Michael. And I was like, wait a second.
He was also her smallest baby, so.
None of us were small. We were all over 7 pounds, by the way. But he was the smallest at like 7'5" or something. I was 7'14". Marissa was 7'12".
Yeah. But, she had done it before, so her area knew what was going on.
So she was like, they get better. And I'm like, because mine was kind of quick. The nurse after Theo was born was like, for your next baby, like come in early because you might like have an accidental home birth if you don't.
Yeah. Be mindful of that for sure.
Yeah. But I was like, things on blessings. Like I didn't want this to drag out because I would have given up. I would have been like, I can't do it anymore.
No, so that's good. So that's kind of our check-in. Obviously, it's a little touch and go as school has started up and my kids are in a bunch of things and Bridget's learning her new mom life. We are going to try to do weekly when we can. I believe this is episode 8, right, Bridget?
Episode 8 of season 2, yeah.
Right. So we do obviously you guys know we do about 10 a season. So we should get the next 2 out hopefully on time. If not, like a week delayed at most. But I will say after episode 10, we are probably going to take a nice break because we only have Bridget and Ted and Theo with us for so long and they leave us right before Christmas. So I really would like to be present with my family. But in the new year, when they are finally settled back in the UK and Bridget's, up for it, we'll get back to season 3 and, update you on that.
Absolutely. Marissa said, yeah, we'll try to do it weekly for the next 2. Okay. Just, yeah. September's hectic for parents. Marissa's like getting back into her school routine, and her son decided to do hockey and cross country at 5 years old. How adorable that they even offer cross country. Plus we're doing swim lessons with him every Saturday morning. So it's, he's involved.
It's a lot. I have back to school night, parent teacher conferences. That's just for one kid. I got a whole nother to worry about. So thank you so much for listening. And obviously congratulations to the new Melton edition. Please like, subscribe, follow us at Psychotic Py Podcast. Thank you guys
so much. Please subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.